cannot believe what I even got here from backtesting. I cannot believe it. It's very, very unbelievable. It's very, very, very unbelievable. I'm not going to be talking about the strategy on this session. I'm just going to be calling out tricks on it, but I'm going to be teaching some other very important things. So let me, hey, it's not the book I use. So lie. Okay. So my backtesting result goes thus. So out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Out of 17 trades, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out of 17 trades, I read 5 stop losses. Out of 17 trades, 5 stop losses and 12 take profits. This is empty for this one HFX one. 5 SLs. Let me record it for yeah. So that's what I'm doing now for the past 2 hours. I just finished a few minutes for the session. 5 stop losses and 12 take profits. Given accuracy of an accuracy of 12 divided by 17, 70%. This is like the first time I'm seeing something like this on empty fort. And do you know the craziest part about it now is that TP5 that I'm aiming for, let me show you. TP1, for those who pay attention in class, is 1:4 RR. TP2 is 1:2. Hey, what have I done there? Command. Okay. Let me show you. TP2, let me hide this one. TP2 is 1:8. 1:8. TP3. So it's time now for us to start feeding in BTA. Time for us to start multiplying MT4 accounts ridiculously. 1:4. TP4. Equal to 1, 1:2. 16 and TP5 is equal to 1, 1:20. Okay. Now, do you know the craziest part about this now is that out of these 12 trades that hit TPs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of them, 6 hits TP5. And this backtesting was from 1st of March. March to, is it 1st of March or 1st of April? Okay, 1st of March to 6th of May. That's when I actually baptized for. So imagine 6 TP5. TP5 is 1:20. So that's if you reach 1%, having 6 of this, that's like 120%. If you reach 2%, 240. If you reach 5%, 600% profit. And the other ones, apart from that TP5, we had one TP2, one TP1. Okay, a lot of them actually TP1s. One TP3, one TP3 rather. One, two, three TP2s, four TP2s. Then we have one CP3, one hit CP3. You may not actually understand this if you're new, so don't confuse yourself. Don't worry. If you don't understand it, don't confuse yourself. Okay, over time, you'll actually understand it. One, two, three, four, five, five TP2s, hit, CP2, five hit CP2. So this is six plus this. Yeah. So imagine this type of things. Imagine this type of thing. And yeah, it involves the first entry and the second entry on majority of the pairs. So like about five or six actually hit TP1. That was good. So imagine this TP1. Okay, I wrote TP1 here. This TP, okay, this TP3. Imagine this five hit TP2. This TP2 now is 1:8. 1:8. So imagine how crazy is then TP3, then this. It's very, very crazy. I'm just going to be dropping traits on it. And once you're taking traits and clearing the traits, I will actually be introducing everybody to it. It's X strategy actually, with a little bit of twist on higher time frame, swinged on a different currency pair. I like to talk about that. Okay. So today's session, what are we going to be talking about? See, something about Forex is that, okay, last week was NFP, and I didn't call out trades. I know I didn't call out trades. From Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then on Friday, I called out some trades. Out of the trades I called out, I think we won two and lost three. And that was crazy. Two wins and three losses. It's absolutely crazy. You know, because that's like a drawdown. So last week, I actually had a drawdown, but the drawdown was actually much. If you had a drawdown, probably like 2-3% based on the amount you risked. But then two wins and three losses. Okay. And some persons will probably be feeling, oh, this coach does not know what he's doing, all those things. But that was NFP week. NFP week, which was basically the week where the biggest Forex fundamental news actually comes out. Okay, no, that was not NFP week, but that was a week after NFP week, brother. NFP week was a week. Okay, you understand. So that was not actually NFP week. That was actually NFP week, but it's one of those. Okay, NFP week was first week of the month, and that was like NFP was like on I think on the 2nd of May or so. But imagine this for a result. Crazy, right? Do you know that this is actually a new week, and this week can end up going 10 wins without a single loss and zero losses. So I don't want you to see Forex as a what do you call it? Something that every day profit, every day. No. I want to actually see Forex as a game of probability. Game of probabilities. How many persons here play Nigeria bets? I don't actually bet, I don't gamble, I don't actually encourage gambling. But if you've actually betted, like if you've actually placed a bet before, you're going to notice that people like going for features that are has a high probability of them winning. For example, now there are two teams that if they play today, they can draw. If they play tomorrow, this one can win this one. If they play tomorrow, this one can win that one. All of those things. So their pattern is very, very irregular. Okay. Those type of things are going to actually have a very high odds because the brokers or those actually setting the this thing, they know that if they put a very high odds and actually enter, you have a very high possibility of probably like missing and making a mistake. But then there are features, that are most likely to actually play out. Like let's say, for example, now Barca meeting Real Madrid yesterday on the El Clasico. Everybody knew that Barca was actually going to beat Real Madrid. You understand? Everybody actually knew that. That was actually an obvious fact. You get so because of statistically, the last four times they actually met before yesterday, they actually won. You understand? And that was actually their home end of season. They would not want to stop that one. And Madrid also had injured defenders. So because of all those reasons now, you actually have a high probability of Barca winning. Barca winning, okay? So now, because of that, if you, as someone that actually knows what you actually do, you want to actually bet Barca to actually win. All right? And that's actually how trading actually is. That's how trading actually is. Now, the fact that the probability of winning of Barca winning is actually as high as probably 80% or 70%, does that mean that Barca is actually going to win? No. It does not mean that Barca is going to win. Barca can still lose. They can still have two red cards and still lose. All right. So the probability now just increases the likelihood of you winning that particular bet if you place that bet. And that's how Forex actually is now. Everything we're actually doing here, are we 100% sure of actually winning trades? No. If I call out two trades for you right now in this session, am I 100% sure of winning trades? No. But I have a high probability of winning the trades. Why? Because of statistics. Statistics. And that's why when it comes to trading, one thing that we traders always do is backtesting. Because backtesting is basically looking at past market data to get the probability of the market reacting a certain way to a certain strategy. There are differences of actually trading, all right? I can come and let me show you something and draw lines, lines. Look at my chart. What are you seeing? Lines, lines, lines. All these lines that you're seeing now, they may look very confusing, but these lines was actually what I used to get this thing that you saw here. All these things you're seeing, your stop loss, TP, blah, 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 from this line, all these lines, simple lines, and I do. And these lines actually told me that statistically, I have a probability of 70% of winning a trade if I take a trade with this strategy. At least for the past 2 months. The past 2 months, from what I actually backtested, if I take a trade, I have a 70% likelihood of winning the trade. This is one thing. So I have very high accuracy on this strategy. But what's even crazy as well, apart from the high accuracy, is the risk to reward ratio. Now, if you're actually playing a place a best, yeah, and the odds, that's what they call it. Okay, it's like they say it's two odds. You understand? That means if it's two odds, that means if you use 1,000 naira on that game and you win the game, you're going to win 2,000 naira. That is a 1:2 RR. You're risking 1,000 to make 2,000. But then there are some games and there are some way you're going to actually like add some other things, corners and all those things. And then the odds going to increase to like 1:10. You'll say 10 odds. So that means if you risk 1,000 naira now, you're going to make 10,000 naira. And there are still some other ones that the odds have not going to be up to two odds, I think. It will be like probably 1.5 or 1.2. 1.2 basically means if you risk 1,000 naira, you win 1,002. Do you understand? So now, not only are we actually having a very high accuracy or a very, very high probability of the strategy actually going in that direction anytime we actually take a trade, but then the odds we're actually playing by. This TP1 is 4 odds, TP2 is 8 odds, TP3 is 12 odds, TP4 is 16 odds, and TP5 is 20 odds. So if you risk 1,000 naira on the trade and trade hits TP5, we are actually going to make 20,000 naira. Now, what is the odds of, or what's the probability of actually hitting TP5? I don't know. I have to check individually. All right. But the probability of the market hitting either TP1, TP2, TP3, TP4, TP4 or the probability of the market actually hitting TP1 at least is 70%. So I'm 70% likely to get a break even and above if I trade this. And that is how Forex actually is. Okay. That is why this session is very, very important. This session is very, very crucial. I know a lot of persons actually play NaijaBet. I don't play NaijaBet. I don't engage in things like that. But I have to actually explain it. You understand? So some persons can actually get. So that's just how Forex actually is. So when it comes to Forex trading, it's not luck, it's not praying, it's not anything. It is a game of probabilities. Now, the week before last week, we had like 90% on HFX. The week before last week, I think we had like 85% on HFX accuracy. But now last week, what we had? We had about 40% accuracy. Now, 40% accuracy doesn't mean That's 2 wins, 3 lessons. Okay. Does it actually mean that our strategy is not actually working again? No, it does not mean. Does it actually mean it is bad or anything is actually no, it doesn't actually mean anything. All right. Anything can affect the forex market and affect the results you get in a particular week. That is why accuracy I actually calculate is not usually in a week. I normally like calculating my accuracy at the end of the month. How many wins I have in total, how many losses I actually have in total. Because within that month, I'm going to have substantial data to be able to actually tell how accurate my strategy actually was for that particular month. So Forex is a deep thing. It's a business, okay, that involves different aspects. That is why if you want to actually be a Forex trader now, you need to actually understand how the market actually works. You need to actually understand how to tip the odds in your favor. You need to actually understand how to be able to look at markets and observe repetitions. So what is actually a forex strategy? Okay. Now, this session is a very, very deep session. On this session, I'm going to actually explain the strategy and how I come about everything and every single thing I actually do and why the market can move this way or move that way based on the particular week or other things and everything. So what is actually a strategy now? A strategy is basically just you predicting something. Look at it now in Nigeria bets as this is Baka. Okay. We have Baka Madrid, okay? Why is this not working? Okay. We have Baka. If you're seeing Baka wins, that means you're predicting the market to buy. Okay. If you say Madrid wins, you're predicting the market to sell. And if you say draw, this is a break even. Either a break even in HFX or a break even in MT4. You understand? So now that's the thing. Is the market going to buy? Is it going to sell? Is it going to buy? Is it going to sell? What is the probability that the market is going to buy? What is the probability the market is going to sell? You can trade Forex with anything at all. You can use trade Forex. You can trade Forex with just one line. What am I using to trade? What I used to draw this now? This is just diagonal support. Everybody knows horizontal support and resistance. Or what you call your trend line. I don't call it trend line because I don't draw it the way people actually draw trend line. I call it the diagonal support. I'm only looking for a couple of touches and it's actually support on the incline of an angle that allows these movements. Get it? So the probability. What is the probability that match is going to win? What's the probability that back going to win? You understand? And that's how it actually comes about. Now, if you look at the market now, you see the market is going up, going down, going up, going down, going down. It's actually moving in a certain pattern. If you look at those patterns very well, you will see repetitions the market do. Let me go to my main account. Repetitions like there are things like supports and there are things like resistance. Those are like the basis. Oh shit, so this is looking very scary. Let me bring something like Litecoin because I don't have any line on Litecoin. So at the end of this session now, I want to actually create traders who are not going to be afraid of trading them. I want to create traders who are going to spend their time on demo looking for edges in the market. I want to create traders who are going to be able to like backtest things, put two and two together, look at them in the market, create patterns, and create a plan out of it and start trading it. That's what I actually look aim to actually achieve with this particular session. Anybody can take signals, anybody can make money, but because the market is constantly changing, if you know how to do this on your own, you can actually be self-sufficient on your own. Okay. I'm training for 5 years plus, and I've created over 7 different strategies. I made so much money from Forex. I've created strategies and I've created students who have created their own strategies that they used to actually make money. And I have students that are still trading their own strategy they created. I still have students that are still trading their own strategies apart from it after this academy. You understand? So that is actually how the market actually goes. If you understand how it actually works, forget it. You're good to go. So if you look at this, there we have an horizontal line. Okay. What does the market do every time the market touches it? Once it touches it, comes down. It touches it, comes down. It touches it, it comes down. It touches it, it comes. Are you seeing it? Good. Trading forex is as simple as saying if the market touches this thing 2 times, the third time is actually also touching it too. Okay, I'm reacting. What if after the first two touches, I take the third touch for a sell? Okay, that is the basis of the strategy. Third touch on horizontal resistance sell. So you see this now. The next thing now is what is the probability? Now, the reason why this probability is very important is that the probability is going to tell you if the strategy is good enough for you to trade or not. So some strategies, especially when it comes to HFX, you're looking for 70% plus because of the payout is very low. On MT4, you can even work with 20% of if you're using a very good a very good risk evolution. So once you're done getting, let's assume it's actually HFX you're trading, yeah? You're done getting it now. You need to actually know the probability. If you go and backtest now, and from the backtesting results you did the past 2 months, you're seeing an accuracy of 40%. Now you see that this strategy is what? Bad strategy. Because with this accuracy, you are not going to win. Imagine losing 60% of trades you're actually taking on HFX. You won't win. But if you go and backtest now, you get a 90% accuracy over 2 months of trading. But let's even say 80%. That's a good strategy. So if the market, in the case of in for the past 2 months, if the market give an 80% accuracy every time, if there are 10 trades that give two touches like this, the thought the out of the 10 trades, 8 out of them would sell on the third touch, and only 2 would buy. And the market kept doing this thing for like in 2 months' time, in 2 months of backtesting, you got an 80% accuracy. Obviously, the market is obviously going to most likely going to continue on that same path till market dynamic actually changes. When is market dynamic going to change? You don't know. But you've backtested this thing over the last 2 months, and this is actually the probability of it reacting well. So based on this thing, you can now trade the strategy. Do you understand? There has to be something. There has to be something. And these things are very, very simple. It's as simple as drawing, even using what do you call it? You can even use indicators of anything can actually give you an edge in Forex. I'm having like messages on the chat box. Okay, anything can actually give you an edge in Forex. All right, just look at the charts. Look at the chart, you see. It can be a bullish engulfing, a bearish engulfing. At the end of a resistance, look at this. This is something now that you can actually look at. It may even be on just a certain currency pair. Let's say Bitcoin now. I've seen something, and what I saw now is that when there's a resistance and it breaks and comes to retest on the 4 hour time frame, at the retest, it reacts very well. On the 4 hour time frame, not 5 minutes, not time frames to also matter. So yeah, you can see my resistance here. Hmm? Break, retest. See from here, so I went up. And this can be the basis of the strategy. Now, what is the probability of the market reacting and buying at the retest? I have to backtest it. So most times I hear people say, oh, coach, I know how to trade very, very well, but I have a problem. What is the problem, Timothy? The problem is that I am scared. Of course, you'll be scared because you don't have proof, don't have proof your strategy works. If you don't have proof, then that means you're gambling because you don't know the percentage accuracy. You don't know the probability of it reacting that way or that way. You're just guessing. Yes, you saw a setup in the past that reacted this way. Good. You saw two setups in the past, all right? But then if you were to trade this thing now in 1 month, what is the probability of you winning trades and you losing trades? If you have like 70% probability of winning or 80% probability, you will not be scared. You will not be because you have proof that it works. All you just have to do is just to follow it. Okay? You probably don't need a strategy right now. You understand? Because I have a very good one I'm using to call out trades for you. But that does not mean you should not look for. I mean, actually, I have a strategy on HFX and M2 and all of those things. Yeah. It doesn't give much setups like that. Probably in a week, you may give like maybe 10 or 15 or 25 based on anything. On your own, you can create a strategy that can give you up to 15 trades in a day. Up to 15 trades in a day with an 80%, 90% accuracy. It's possible. If you get started like that, do you know how fast your account will go? Imagine 15 trades in a day with 80% accuracy. In 1 week, if you lose 5%, you can grow your account from like $100 up to like $700. Do you see it? You understand? So it's that just basically how it actually is. So on your own, anytime you're actually learning on your personal practice session, look at the market. Tell yourself, what is this market consistently doing? All right. What is the market constantly doing? What can I see? What can I see from this market? What is this market consistently doing? What is this market consistently repeating over and over and over? There's always something, like I said, no matter the phase of the market, there's always something that can be traded. Now, you may not actually get that thing initially once the market dynamic shifts. Why? Because the market now is different. What was working before may stop working in the new markets. An example, prior to the trade wars, the strategies were actually working. Market was trending, 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 it was actually working. Then Trump came and scattered everything. Stock market started crashing, crypto started crashing, everything changed. China started attacking this one and everything, different news, breaking news here and there and there. That strategy now will stop working. The strategy that actually working with trends will stop working in this new market now because the market is not trending. But there is still going to be a new edge in this new market. And you have to find it. How long may it take you to find? It may take up to 1 month. Because in 1 month time, you've actually seen enough, the market have actually moved very, very well, and you actually have enough data to start looking for patterns and everything. But there's always something. You understand? And this is why, as a forex trader now, it's not all about entering trades. You have to be very, very, knowledgeable of what you're doing, especially when you're trading on your own. If you're taking signals, that's fine. But when you're actually doing things on your own, that's why you need to actually have a trading plan. Okay? And a trading journal. Okay. What is the trading plan? What is the trading journal? Okay. Now a trading plan is let me say programming code for trading. Okay. Programming code for trading. So you look at yourself as a robot. You're not a human being trading forex. Human beings don't trade forex. Human beings are too emotional to actually trade forex. That's the truth of everything. When you're trading forex, you're a bot. You're an AI. Okay. And you need a code to be able to actually run. You need a code to actually execute orders. Your trading plan are those lines of codes that guides your trading. In no condition should you deviate from these codes. Imagine you actually program a robot. Okay, let's say um um there was a particular movie then, iRobots. We watched one actually soon. I think of all the robots actually designed, one of them actually had a bug in his program, something like that. So it now became bad. Okay. There's also another movie again. I think it's Atlas or so about AI. Of all the AI and everything, there was one that actually had a, what do you call it? That actually went rogue. It went against its command and its code. What happened at the end of the movie? At the end of the movie, the bot was caught and it was killed, decommissioned. That's actually how it also is to be trading. If you're trading Forex, you don't have a trading plan, you're not going to function without a trading plan normally. Because if those bots are not actually programmed, they will not actually function. Now, if you have a trading plan and you're not following your trading plan, you're basically that robot that is going against its code, which is theoretically not possible, but going against code. And what happens if you go against your code? You fail. So once you are done backtesting, once you're done getting the patterns, you're done putting this and this together and everything, carry you must actually have a book, trading journal. The first page of the trading journal, write down all the conditions which you're going to use to actually enter the trades. What is going to be your entry reasons, stop loss you're going to use, TP you're going to use, this one you're going to use, when you're going to trade, when you're not going to trade, when you're going to take your partials, every single thing, even if it's even up to like 15 lines, you number them 1, 2, 3, 4, write everything down. So when it comes to programming, you write your codes line by line. If the market is like this, you do this. If it's like this and like this, do this. If it's like this or like this, do this. Every single thing. You write everything down. So you now as a robot, now what you do now is follow these things. So from backtesting now, you have a probability is 70 to 80% probability of winning the trades. Now you've written everything down, and then you're now following this thing in real life as a robot. Provided the market dynamics has not changed, provided there was not an error when you are backtesting, the market is very much likely to keep doing what it was actually doing. Okay? And that is what you have a strategy, and that's actually basically what trading is. Then what is your trading journal? Trading journal now is a book, okay, where you record down all your wins, losses, and lessons, not losses, and new things you've learned. You've learned. You know why it's called lessons is because you learn something from it, okay? If you lose a trade because you traded during NFP or this one, you didn't know, you've learned something from it. And you write down the new thing you've learned in your trading journal. The wins you're taking, you're entering them. The losses you're taking, you're entering them. Every single thing. The currency pairs you're taking when you traded, everything you need when you're trading journal, you write them down there. Now, this information is going to be very, very useful for you to important. Now, I understand fully well that we have some newbies here, and this thing I'm actually talking about is going to be like a lot of information to them. But this session is actually recorded. If you're new, try as much as possible to learn as much as you can. And the ones you can actually learn, the session is actually recorded. So after like 2 weeks of being in the academy, after like 2 weeks of going through your courses, after like 2 weeks of actually learning, you can obviously always go through it again and learn importance of trading journal. Performance tracking. If you know you want to be an independent trader, if you know you want to like be doing this thing for the next 10 years, like I said, trading is not something you're doing for fun. Trading is not something you're doing to make $10,000 and stuff. Trading is a career. It's something you're doing for like I want to embark on this career. Like, saying you want to actually become a doctor. You go to school, how many years you spend, mass, everything you get. Say you want to become an engineer, it's a career choice. Okay, it can give as much as $1 million a year. It's a career. Okay, so you need to actually understand it very, very well. Okay, performance tracking. Statistically saying, from statistically, your strategy is 70% likely to give you wins or 80%, whatever. With a trading journal, you can see all the wins and lessons you're actually incurring. And then you can tell how the strategy is actually performing. If it's giving you what you are meant to be, what is actually meant to be given. Okay? If it's giving you what it's meant to be given. So now, if you're journaling things on your trading journal, now you notice your accuracy dropped from 70% to 20% in a week. Run, no, run. Because it may actually indicate something. Now, if it actually happens in a week, it may not really be much. Maybe that week, something actually happened in the market. Maybe there was something that actually happened, right? If next week it actually happens again, you know that something is actually going on now. So you start reducing your risk, your risk to protect capital. Okay. And without trading journal, you're not going to be able to do all these things because you will not even know self. You just be trading and noticing that your account actually reducing. Before you know, you're over leverage and you're blowing the whole money. So with trading journal now, you can be able to actually keep track of all this and know when you are good or when your accuracy is actually dropping. Number two, strategy refinement. Now, you know what I said about trading journal? I said wins, losses, and new things you have learned. Now, when it comes to trading Forex, do you know that ChatGPT or AIs, as we know today, were not built this way? They were not built this way. Open source, this one, that one, that one, that one, that one. These things actually update themselves. They update themselves. So initially, it was a simple line of code that over time it started self-learning and improving itself and its algorithm. That is the same way Forex actually works. You may have a strategy, it may be giving you 1:2 reward ratio or 1:3 or 1:4 with like 30% or 40% accuracy or 50%. Now, if you're recording your results, all your wins and everything, your trading journal, you'll be seeing new things, you'll be learning new things from the market. Oh, like this, like this, like that. Oh, if I had done like this, I would have actually doubled it. Oh, if I read my stop loss from this to this, I can actually increase my profits by this and my risk reward ratio together. Get. So with the trading journal now, after like a while of trading, you can look at what you're recording in your trading journal, the things you've learned, and every single thing, and use to refine your strategy to make it more profitable for you as a trader. Then remember, when you're done refining your strategy, the new strategy, you write it down on your trading plan. Bold, you reprogram yourself and follow it next week. That's how you trade Forex. And that the reason is for emotional control. See, this emotional control, this one really helped me. Now, when it comes to trading Forex now, there's this particular thing that people actually face very well when it comes to 24. I faced it too. Okay. I was not born with the skills of trading Forex. So I learned, self-taught and all of these things. It's emotional control. Now, this one now is that once you enter a trade on MT4, if it's going in profit now, that's floating profit you're seeing there. It will be entering your eyes. So maybe it's currently showing $100. You know, like, oh, I've been mark lose this trade. Man, no loser. Mark loser. Maybe you may have moved your stop loss up in profit to 140 pips. You get, but it's currently 100 pips. And before you move your stop loss again up in profit again, it has to like maybe you have moved your stop loss to 40 pips in profit, that's $40. And before you move your stop loss again up, it has hit $120. But currently it's actually $100. You're feeling like losing. And the market now goes from that $100 to $40 and come and close it, you start feeling bad that you lost $60. And next time when you actually want to buy a trader, it's going to mess your psychology even further. But if you have a trading journal and a plan, all those things are not concerning because you're just following your code. Robots are ruthless. They don't care about anything. And that's why if you check all these movies that come out, Terminator and everything, They try to actually depict how, you know, emotionless they can actually be. That's also why when it also comes to trading your account with bots, you need to actually put fail safes, because these things will not actually emotionally feel like stopping. It just keep doing whatever it feels to actually do. Emotional control. It helps you to be emotionally disciplined, to be very, very disciplined. It helps you to be accountable, account the ability, accountable. And it also helps for self-assessment and improvement. Self-assessment and improvement. Do you know what self-assessment and improvement is? Oh, I have this strategy I'm trading and I'm using it. A lot of things can actually make it not to work. All right. A lot of things you get. But if you're actually following these procedures and everything, you're learning. Okay. You're learning, you're understanding yourself better, you're understanding the market better. You're seeing things that you will not normally see if you're not actually this disciplined. It's going to help you actually learn and grow faster as a forex trader. Do you understand? So here's actually a breakdown of what I actually taught today. Steps. Mm. It's not difficult. Independently, without anybody. One, observe the market for patterns. This is you without you even in anybody say independent. Why I wrote independently is because you can actually come and learn a strategy from somewhere. Even if you learn strategy too, you can still backtest on it. You can still do one or two things and still add this, add that, and try to still optimize it. You can go online and learn, is it SMC they call it? Or ICT concept, everything good. You can still carry it, add your own ideas to it, look at everything, observe and this thing, and get the pattern that mix as a blend of yours and what you're also learning. So as long as enter in the market does it, does that. Enter in the market does it, does that. That is the pattern. Back test to get a probability. Importance of backtesting. Backtesting tells you a lot of things. It tells you the stop loss you still need to use. Every single thing you need to know about how to use the strategy very well. To optimize strategy, get it from backtesting. It's very important. It's very, very important. The next thing, reading, um, I normally usually tell people to actually, trade itself on demo for like a week. I not say 6 months, I not say 8 months, I not say 3 months, I not say 2 months, like a week or two. And the reason for trading demo um for 2 weeks, for a week or two, is because when it comes to backtesting, you can actually skip some things. All right, you can actually skip some things. There are some things that you may not actually see. You may not actually um notice for fundamental news. You may not actually notice that most of the things we're actually looking at was from 3 a.m. in the morning or from 12 a.m. in the morning when you are sleeping. So it's now when you now come and read on demo, that's when you now can see, hey, you now can say the accuracy maybe is not as accurate as you thought. It was 70%, but most of the trades that formed and won formed within the time when you're actually sleeping. So removing that time from your backtesting results, the accuracy is meant to be 30%. So when you traded on demo for 2 weeks, you now realize that this is actually a mistake. Yeah, but if you go from this to live, you would have actually lost money in a drawdown within these 2 weeks. So this is to confirm that every single thing you did on your trading plan works. Consistently, okay? This is just basically it. This is it. Simple. No more than this. I have 3 messages in chat box. Anything, yeah. So you see, it's simple. Okay, simple. It's not more than this. Tomorrow I'm going to teach infinite, infinite draw down glitch. You know why I call it infinite drawdown glitch? Because the secret to never blowing your account. I'm going to teach this on the 11 a.m. session. Infinite drawdown glitch. You know what it means when you say infinite drawdown glitch? That means if I have a 5% drawdown, I cannot, what also actually means actually the infinite. That means it can never end. That means even if you keep losing a glitch, you can never lose the extent that you actually, even if you're only on funded. In fact, I created this thing based on funded channel model. Based on funded channel model. So it's infinite. That basically means if you follow it, you cannot actually blow your account. Highest thing you're going to have is just a drawdown, drawdown, drawdown. You always recover from the drawdown at some point. Okay. So most times when people actually have a drawdown, usually from there to the account blow or they breach their funded challenge and everything. But with this infinite drawdown glitch now, even if your strategy stops working and you get caught off guard, you would always recover from the infinite drawdown, from the drawdown and get back in profits. I'm going to just one tomorrow by 11 a.m. and it will live. Okay. So make sure you don't miss the session. So you can learn this. Like I always say, a lot of things I used to trade. Right. I learned some things 5 years ago when I tried my possible best to learn as much as I could. And I know when I even needed some of them self. Right. But when I started trading on my own, when I started creating my own strategies and everything, I realized that I was remembering some things that I did not even know self that, some things I learned like 2 years ago. I was remembering them. And as I was applying those things to what I was doing, I was able to actually like create a much more accurate strategy. So that's why it's always good to actually learn. Because now I'm teaching right now, you feel like, I don't listen after I'm doing HFX and da. Who told you I'm going to do HFX forever? I started with MT4. From MT4, I went to HFX. From HFX, I went back to MT4. Now I'm doing both of them. You can start with HFX now. Next 3, 4 months, you can move to MT4. If you have all this information now and you apply them to MT4, you're going to actually become very profitable much faster. So try and best your best as much as possible to learn as much as you can. Don't let any information slide by. Okay. This session is actually recorded. It's going to be uploaded on the group chat before 1 p.m. today. You understand? Make sure you save it so you can actually go over it again and again. So you actually understand every single thing I talked about on this session. Today is actually Monday. I'm not really going to call out trades if I don't see very good setups. Mondays are usually very slow, and I don't really like trading when the market is usually very slow. But that's actually about it. If I see good stuff, I'm going to drop on Kucha. If I don't see, we start trading tomorrow. But that actually is for the session. Thank you very much for joining. If you got value from this session, you enjoyed what I actually thought, topics were actually helpful. It was actually what you are looking for in the market. Help me drop some value on the group chats. Okay. I'll see you guys on the next session, which is actually going to be 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Have a lovely, beautiful, and amazing day. Bye bye.